7 signs you are going to be successful. What are the chances of you making it? How likely are you going to be successful? After interviewing hundreds and meeting with hundreds of CEOs, athletes, celebrities, some of the most successful people in the world, I asked myself the question, what is it that makes the successful successful? I've always been fascinated by the mindset of the super successful, their discipline, their focus, their determination in the face of difficulties. What makes them different? These are not theories, these are signs. Let's see how many of these signs do you have. Comment below. Sign number 1, successful people have great habits. Unsuccessful people have lousy habits. Habits like smoking, drinking, taking drugs, watching too much TV. You see, successful people are where they are today because of their habits. Habits determine 95% of a person's behavior. Everything that you are today, everything that you will accomplish in the future is determined by the quality of the habits that you form. What I found that is the very best people have the best habits. You see, successful people are simply those with successful habits. Successful habits could be getting up in the morning, meditate, reading, exercising regularly. How many of these habits do you have? Sign number 2, successful people are incredibly driven. How driven are you? Now, I'm not talking about you being a nightmare to work with or bullying other people. I'm talking about you pushing yourself to get results. It's your personal drives that turns your ideas into actions, into results. It is your personal drive that keeps you going when things get tough. It is your personal drives that enables you to bounce back from disappointment, from setback. So how driven are you? Or are you lazy? Do you procrastinate? Do you put things off? You see, for the first 5 years of my career, I didn't take a single day off. I was working 10, 12, 14 hours every single day for 5 years straight. Why? Because I was driven. I was driven to provide for my family. I was driven to prove other people wrong. And today, I am driven by my mission. How driven are you? Sign number 3, successful people are confident in their abilities. You see, the 2 biggest enemies to success, number 1, self-doubt. Number 2, fear of the unknown. We struggle with self-doubt. We worry, are we ready for this? Are we good enough? Do we actually have what it takes to succeed? Confidence is nothing more than believing in yourself. And believing in yourself is nothing more than doing the things that you once didn't believe that you could do. You see, confidence comes from competence. It's easy to believe in yourself when everyone believes in you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about believing in yourself when you're not ready. Believing in yourself when no one believes you. Believe in yourself when everyone doubts you that you cannot do it, that you cannot make it, that you don't have what it takes. That is when you need to develop that unshakable self-confidence, that believe that you can do it. And confidence is not the same as arrogance. See, arrogance is thinking that you're above everybody else. Confidence is knowing that no one is above you. Do you feel confident enough in your own abilities that you can do what it takes? Are you willing to bet on yourself? Not just words, but action. How often you invest in yourself? Are you willing to put everything you have on the line for your goals and for your dreams? Do you bet on yourself? Or do you procrastinate? Do you hesitate? Are you a perfectionist? Do you suffer from paralysis analysis? You might have the best ideas and most brilliant ideas in the world, but if you cannot articulate those ideas, you don't know how to communicate those ideas to other people, you won't go anywhere. And communication skills come in many forms. I'm talking about writing their email, or writing their social media posts, or conducting their meeting, or speaking one-on-one, speaking on the phone, talking with a prospect, or even speaking to large groups of people. All those falls under communication skills. One of the things that I did that changed my life early on in my career is I joined Toastmasters to hone and develop my public speaking skills. I was also learning from a mentor to develop my copywriting skill, which is communication in the written forms. How to use words in print to persuade, influence somebody. So all successful people, they have this one thing in common: the ability to influence, persuade, inspire other people. Sign number 5, they have a growth mindset. Mark Cuban reads 3 hours a day. Bill Gates reads at least 1 hour per day. I go through 2 to 3 books per week for years now. I'm still constantly learning all the time. And I'm not just talking about reading a book. It could be listening to a podcast, talking to other successful people, getting coaching from your mentors. But successful people, we're always learning and growing, and we never stop. One time I was asking a very successful person out for lunch. He's been very successful for so many years. He's in the merger and acquisition space. He's had multiple successful exits, sold multiple companies at a very young age. When we sat down and we're sitting across each other, and when we had that meal, the first thing that he did is he pulled out a journal and taking notes and started asking me questions, learning. I was the one who wanted to learn from him, but it turns out into a learning session that he's learning from me. I'll never forget that. Because you see, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. The less you know, the more you think you know. Sign number 6, successful people embrace failures. Do you embrace failures, or do you take failures personally? You see, successful people, they are ridiculously positive about their future. They always speak positively about their future, where things are going, as if it's already happened, even though there's no way that it could happen. They believe in themselves, right? They have positive expectations about their future. Walt Disney was fired by news editors saying that he had no imagination and no creativity. Steven Spielberg was rejected 3 times by film school before getting his huge break. Colonel Sanders, at the age of 56, got rejected 1,000 times for its recipe before a restaurant picks it up. You will notice the most successful people in any field, they are usually the ones who have failed more than anybody else. You see, the difference between a successful person and everyone else is not a lack of strength, it's not a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of will. Winston Churchill said it best: success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Take sales and closing, for example. The most successful salespeople, the highest paid successful closers in the world,